be discussing here today, because what we'll be discussing today will not just be something you would like to forget in a moment, I mean, in a daytime. So take your pen and prepare very well for this class today. I would like to give this opportunity, I mean, this time to the speaker of today, the chief steward himself. So I'd like you to give him a thumbs up as he take over from there. Thank you so much, sir. We are glad to have you.
All right, Godson, thank you for a great job. Adeshona, thank you very much. It's good to have you on the call again. Charles, Samuel has dropped. I think he has network issues. Okay, so my plan today is for us to have really interactive session, because this is the first leadership session, right, of this Science Mentorship Program. So we have other leadership sessions coming up. And based on the plan, we are supposed to be having a speaker today. We will still have the same speaker talk about the scientist and his society, to tell us more about the global and societal impact of science, because we don't want to just give theories, right? We want to tell you stories of how people have used ideas in the field of science to make positive contributions in their own immediate environment, right? And also even environment away from theirs, So it's very important when you have real life experiences and you have people who share those experiences with you. So we are still going to have that particular person come on call. I had a conversation with him, but he's not available at the moment. So, but before I dive into the conversation today, so what I'm going to be doing is just give you like an introduction. It's just going to be just a few things to share. But before I go into that, I would like for us to begin with getting the feedback from our mentorship session, the first mentorship session you had last week. I know this is supposed to be the leadership session, but of course, the leadership session of this program is it's still a part of the program, right? This session is still a part of the Science Mentorship Program, as much as the mentorship sessions is equally a part of the program. So it may be a little bit different, but it's still a part of the whole experience, right? So I'd like for us to share. And if you can, when it's your turn to share, please do well to share your video. That would be really awesome for us to see ourselves. Because aside from knowing who is behind, the names, it's very important for us to connect with each other. We are not just having trainings or programs with random people. We would love for you to know who your colleagues are. We would love that by the end of this program, you would be able to build solid connections, strategic relationships that can be of great value to you as a person and even in what you do as a scientist. So it's very important, right? So I don't know how we can, maybe I'll just go from what I see. You have the names on screen. So I have Abraham, Deshuna, I have Samuel, Baraka, Charles, Gloria, Naftali, and Oluwabori. So let's start with Abraham. So how was the first session of the mentorship program? That's with your mentor, because all of you have different mentors. So just tell us how the experience was, your challenges. Are there things you would like you're having challenges with, so that we can also talk about fixing them for you. So yeah, this is feedback time. So Abraham, let's start from you.
Good day, everyone, again. Okay, so my mentor is Marvelous Faloyi, and we had a meeting, I think, last week Saturday. Yes, it was exactly last week Saturday, 6 p.m. to be precise. And we introduced ourselves. I heard her undergrad research, her current research, her bio, her future plans, and what she's currently working on as well, her professor, and how her journey has been from her undergrad to the period in between where she had to volunteer and other stuffs, and what she did and how she got over to, I can't remember her university, but yes, I was inspired. I felt, I know she's a microbiology
Abraham, you're
major
not
in
sharing your
undergrad.
video. Sorry for cutting you short. You're not sharing your video.
Okay. Okay. Let me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I think All right. So,
That's
yeah,
you said
basically, she was a microbiologist. Audible, please.
yeah. You can go on.
Okay. So, and it was inspiring. You know, she spoke about using microbes in electricity, and I was like, wow.
Okay. Looks like we've lost
We
Abraham.
just
Okay.
exchanged ideas and everything, and gave me assignment too, so that's also on the way. I'm currently working on it. It has been stressful. Electricity has not been friendly. Also, my
Okay.
laptop has 1 hour battery life, sort of. So, but I'm working on it. Hopefully, I'll deliver before the time runs out, before my deadline, and we'll see how it goes from there. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. It's glad to hear that. So let me also add that in case you have any challenges that can hamper your chance to do something, do well to communicate. Communication is very powerful, right? So if it's a direct communication with your mentor, for instance, I know that your mentor gave you an assignment that is different from general assignments. So if you are going to be having any issue, it would be very awesome to either email her or drop her a message on Google Classroom so that she can know that you're having the challenge. So that way, your mentor is not going to be expecting a response from you on a particular day and time, only for you to not turn up or turn in your assignment simply because you have challenges. But if you inform them
Oh,
ahead of time, they would be able to accommodate. So please do well in case anybody has challenges that can affect them from, like prevents them from submitting something before time. Please do well to communicate that to your mentors way ahead of time. Okay. So Abraham, thank you very much for sharing. That was amazing. So
you're welcome.
next is Samuel. Samuel, how did it go? I want to hear Samuel.
Yeah, I had the first mentorship session with Mr. Oluwagbeminiyi Bangboyi on Friday, and it was actually very awesome because he related to the experience I was going through. He first asked, of course, firstly we had introductions, introduced himself, I introduced myself. He asked for the goals that I have for the near future and the farther future, why I chose research and more. Then he started explaining the reason why he himself entered into research, what he wants to achieve there. And from my own introduction, he started giving me some pointers, some tips, some mindset corrections that I had to apply to myself. Like saying that some mindset correction I had to apply to myself, yeah. So, and I really found it helpful. I also got to know my other classmates, that would be Geoffrey. I got to know his own goals too. I got to know some of the things that he wanted to achieve. It was just amazing getting to know him and also getting to know my mentor. So I hope I can't wait for the next session.
Awesome. Awesome. I like that. I like that. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, for those of you who have colleagues on the call, um, do well to not just connect on the call, right? You can connect, you can share contacts with each other, keep in touch. So that would be really awesome. Okay, that's really going to be awesome. Yeah, so next, Barakat. Barakat, how was your first mentorship session? And if you can,
Hello.
please show us your face. Can we want to see who is talking?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Barakat.
Hello. Good evening. Hello. Yeah, this is Barakat. Okay. My first mentorship held on last week Saturday. Yeah, that was last week. So the session was awesome. So it was good to get in touch with my mentor. Mr. Isaac. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I get in touch with my mentor, Mr. Isaac, and my co-member, who in person of Karipo. I can't remember his name. So he asked about my goals, like the part of science in which I'm interested in. I told him I'm particularly interested in how to transform waste material into renewable materials, into renewable something. Yeah. Okay. That's all.
Okay. Thank you very much. Obviously, Barakat and her mentor are already diving deep into conversations about their research interests. So it's amazing. Thank you very much for sharing. All right, next on the list is Charles. So Charles, how did it go? How was your first mentorship session? And if you can, please do well to share your video.
So, all right, so good afternoon.
Yeah.
It was actually a wonderful session. I think that was 2 days ago on Thursday by 8 p.m. Yes, 8 p.m. So I had a session with my mentor. His name, Debnat. I can't actually recall.
Devnath,
Debnat.
Dev Kumar.
Okay, Dev Kumar. So it was actually fun. We started late because my colleague couldn't join in time. So he asked me to wait for her to join. So she was able to catch up later. It was more of an introductory session actually. So he generally gave us an overview of how science connects with each other. Now, irrespective of the courses we are studying, because my colleague is studying biochemistry and myself medical laboratory science. So, and he made us understand that he's actually running his postgraduate in chemistry and all of that. So the basic thing he made us understood was that irrespective of respective fields and all of that, sciences, the connecting dots are there all over in science. So it was more of an introductory session. He asked about our fields and he also gave us assignments to be submitted, I think 5th of June. So we are working towards that. It was interesting actually. Though at first the communication barrier, but then we're able to work with that. Thank you, sir.
That's amazing. So, one very key part of this program is the fact that mentors or mentees would be, the idea originally is that the two stakeholders would be from different parts of the world, different languages or different cultures, so that you're not just learning science, you're equally learning their culture. So in Charles' case, his mentor happens to be an Indian, right? So now you would have to, definitely you would learn connecting with somebody from outside the culture, right? And that's really a skill for you. So, but for somebody, maybe if, let's say I'm a Yoruba person, for instance, right? And maybe my mentor is somebody from Europe or Australia, or maybe somebody in Nigeria, but the person is not Yoruba. So that connection is happening. We are connecting across cultures. And you would definitely have a few challenges as you begin. Like he said, communication issues, but how you are able to deal with those issues is what makes you a leader, So I'm glad to hear this coming from Charles. And so thank you very much for sharing. Thank you so much. And I encourage everyone to pay attention, not just learning science, but equally learning how to connect with people, right? Okay, so Gloria, how did it go? Gloria, how was your first session with your mentor? Yep. Yeah, you're muted. Yep.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay. So mine was amazing, I must say. My mentor was Mr. Joseph Ifeanyi, yes. And then our session was scheduled for Saturday. That was last week, Saturday. And 1st of We introduced ourselves. He told me a little about him. I did same too. And yeah, okay, something we spoke about during the session was about my research, my project work. And then he gave me some tips on how to go about it. He gave me to do work, of which I'm to give him a feedback. Yes, I think today, supposed to be today. And yeah, there were challenges. I had network issue from my own end. So our session was cut short, unfortunately, due to network issue. And I promised to always be in a location that won't cause a break in transmission during our session, because I think at the long run I'll be the one that would lose, not him. So I said I was going to work on that. And because as of that time, I was not in a proper location. So that was what caused break in transmission, like due to our network issues. So I think basically that was it. But for the short time we spent, mine was amazing. I was able to get a few things, learn a few things from him, and I'm still working on that area just so my project work will be one of a kind. And I'm hoping on building on building on the work I'm going to start with, just so in the long run it would make impact. Yeah.
That's right.
So that's it.
Thank you very much, Gloria. I don't know about everybody on this call, but I'm actually enjoying myself. Like, I'm having a good time listening to all of you share your experiences, really. So thank you very much once again. So next is Kelsey Geoffrey. We have one more person after that. Yeah, Geoffrey, how was your session, your first session? Oh, Ayobami, haven't spoken yet. So Geoffrey, how was your first session with your mentor?
Okay, good evening, sir, and good evening, everyone.
If you can, share your video. I want to see you. Yeah.
Okay. So good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, my first mentorship class was very interesting. I learned a lot. We talked more on, let's say, ideas on researches, how to be a good researcher, how to. We even had assignments. It was a fun class. It was a very, very fun session. I really enjoyed it, and I learned a lot from it. And there was this. I can actually say I had this relationship of. He built this relationship in us. This, let's say, student-mentor relationship. At least I know how to. I learned a lot. I can stand out to address, let's say, people I'm trying to mentor. I know the approaches now to take. I know certain things to do, and then he gave us an insight on how to be a good researcher, what a researcher should actually feel like, what a researcher should actually be doing. Yeah, so it was a very fun and educative session, sir.
Awesome. And that's just the introduction. Amazing. Okay, Naomi has dropped hers in the chat. I think she's currently unable to speak. So thank you very much for dropping that information in the chat now. So we have Ayobami Esther. Can you go next? Okay, Ayobami, can you hear us? Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Sorry, I'm kind of busy actually.
Oh.
What's it called? Section with my mentor. My mentor was Mrs. Shekoni Olights on Comfort. So we had a kind of introductory class where she introduced herself. She tell us about research. I also have a colleague, Naomi Naftali also. So she introduced us to research and she tell us about herself, and she asked us to share our research experience in school during undergraduate program. So that was all we had. And then she told us she had a lecture with us on recent discoveries in the field of science. Then she gave us an assignment. So that was all we had last week. But it was a very interesting and entertaining one, I can say.
Awesome. Thank you. Glad to hear that. Okay, the last person, Oluwabori. I guess that's Comfort. Oluwabori Comfort. Can you hear us? Okay. It's all right. So we would proceed. I don't know, maybe Comfort cannot. Comfort, can you hear us? Oluwabori Comfort. I think she's trying to speak. Let's hold on a sec. Yeah, Comfort, are you there? Comfort, can you hear us? And sharing, let me quickly share my slide. Give me a second. Okay. So like I told you today, I'll just give us a brief introduction, right? I'm not going to talk too much about this because we will still have Smart Israel and a couple of other people come talk about how they have been able to create ideas from science to impact society positively, because those people are people that I know in person, and they have done so well in translating science to benefits for society. And that's the idea. I asked somebody a question. I think she is a medical student. So I asked her, if there are no patients, what kind of doctor would you be? And so the same question applies to everybody who is on this conversation. If you intend to be, let's say, a medical lab scientist, for instance, if there are no people to treat or people to attend to, what kind of medical lab scientist would you be? The answer is you would not be a medical lab scientist. If it's a medical doctor, you will not be a medical doctor. If it's a teacher, you're not going to be a teacher because there's nobody to teach. So the idea is that the people define the profession. And I'm going to say that again, the people define the profession. So why we have medical lab science or medical lab scientists is because that scientist has people to attend to. Why we have medical doctors is because that those people have patients to attend to. So the people always define the profession. And it's very important to pay attention to the people. So we do things for the people. Why I want to do this is because of the people. And ideas actually come from wanting to do things for the people. So in our first session, we told you about Panel Foundation. We said it only very briefly, right? We told you about serving people, right? Our goal or our core value of service for other people. Why? Because actually, without people, we would not have anything at all. So it's very important that when we want to do things, we think about doing such things for other people. It's so powerful. It's the way to live, and that's where ideas come from. That's where amazing things come from for everybody in the society. So today, we are going to talk briefly about you and your own immediate society and how this relationship between you and science, or you and your society actually can create impact, or actually positive impact for everybody around you and the society. So again, like I said, it's going to be brief. The first thing I want to talk about is, give me a second. So the scientist, which is you, your observation or his observation. I'm going to share practical stories with you. So some months ago, okay, why is this not moving? Yeah, so months ago, I had this highlighter in my book. This is actually my book. And I kept it overnight. And then suddenly I realized that it leaked through the book, as you can clearly see on screen. And it had a great impact on this particular page of the book. And then down the line, the impact continues to reduce. So this is the highest point of impact, the first image that I shared. And then the next page is, there's this successive impact, so to say. It continues to impact on subsequent pages of the book. And as you go down, I noticed the impact reduced, and even until the last page, there was almost little or nothing left of ink. Now, it took about 29 pages, I think. And so I was curious and I was wondering, because my research I'm working on creating high barrier papers. So instead of synthetic plastics, because, food packaging, most times people use synthetic plastics, right, to package food items. Even your drinks, all those Coca-Cola drinks you drink, soft drinks, the packaging is with plastics. And plastics, amazing, but the problem is that plastic is not degradable, right? And plastic is harmful to the environment. So what I'm trying to do is to see that instead of plastics, let's use papers to package our food substances. So paper is economical, paper is recycled, you can recycle paper, paper is biodegradable as well. So, but my emphasis is food packaging. So because I'm working in the area of paper, I was already wondering, okay, what can we do to this paper to make it resist water? Because this is definitely a lack of resistance for the ink, right? Because if the paper could resist the ink, we would not see this impact. So I now went to see my supervisor and I asked him, I told him, hey, this is what I noticed. I showed him the book. This is actually the book I'm holding in my hand. And I told him, this is what I noticed. What can we do to have papers that would be able to resist this kind of situation or this kind of effect? Do you understand? So my supervisor said, this is amazing. And it's good that you brought this up. So he shared a few ideas with me, but he told me it's actually something we can explore. But why I'm sharing this story is to say that the one thing that a scientist or an individual or a scientific leader should really pay attention to is observation. Like they say, observation is one of the greatest skill of a scientist because many people don't do it. Even many students, many people, average people on the street, many people in homes everywhere, lots of people don't observe what happens around them or what happens, in their own environment. And it's important that you should do so, right? So the first thing I want to draw your attention is your observation. Please do not assume that everything is happening perfectly okay around you. If you start paying attention to your environment, you'll be able to notice lots of things that are likely not happening correctly that you may be able to fix. And I'm going to pause here to try this out with everybody on the call. And please respond in the chat. So let me ask one question. How many red cars did you see today? Oh my God, somebody said I can't see yours. Can anybody see my screen? Who else cannot see? I want to be sure that you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. Ayobami, maybe try to refresh or something. All right. So how many red cards did you see today? You can drop it in the chat. Did you see a red card today? Maybe I should start from there. Did you see a red card today? So I need a yes or no in the chat. Did you see a red card today? Okay, no. Okay. No, I didn't. No, sir. Okay. Now, there's this theory called the red card theory. I'm yet to have my first. Okay, thank you very much. I didn't take note. Now, I want us to try this together. Please don't do this for what I'm going to be giving you as a reward. Do this because I would love for us to see how truly this works, right? Now, for every red car you see, today is Saturday. For every red car you see from today to Saturday, we will give you some benefits, maybe to help you buy internet services for you. I don't want to say exactly how much, but please, everybody on this call, I would like for you to pay attention to from today to Saturday, red cards that you see and record it to every day. Monday, did you see a red card? Make sure you do this because for every red card that you see, there's a reward for it. That's what I'm saying. You will notice that between now and Saturday, there's a chance you will see red cards. Why? That's because there's already a reward attached to it. It's called the red card theory. I know and I believe, or I want to believe that everybody who said no, because everybody on the call said no, didn't see a red card. I want to believe that perhaps somebody actually saw a red card. Well, maybe not saw a red card, but a red card actually passed through them or somewhere around the environment, but they just did not pay attention. But when there is a reward attached to it, you will pay attention. So, but why many people don't do it is because they think that there is no reward attached to observation. But the truth is, there is so much of reward attached to observation. The people who become producers or creators of ideas have the reward of, the reward that comes from serving people with those ideas. Why you have things like Facebook, why you have things like Instagram, why you have things, any business you can think of. In fact, today I was listening to somebody's podcast and he was sharing how he started a business from simply paying attention to what people were saying in a particular Facebook group. Like they were actually complaining about something, and that became a business for him, right? He's making so much money every month from that business. Why? Because he paid attention. You would think there is no reward, but there's a reward attached to observation. Please be attentive to your environment. So next, I would his questions and his critique. I'm actually going to be sharing only two things with you today. First, I talk about your observation. Secondly, your questions and your critique. Question everything and anything. Critique everything and anything. So what you have on screen is actually a paper that I read. And all these markings you see, they're the markings that I made. Now the first, so I have, if you can see, I have orange markings and I have green markings, right? Now all the markings in orange. Oh, Godson, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. I think you will need to work on your screen a little.
What's the issue? Please tell me.
You can't see your screen again.
Okay, let me stop sharing and share again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, one more time. Can you see the screen? Double checking. Can you see the screen? Just one more time.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Gloria. Okay, so like I was saying, the orange markings are actually markings that I consider not completely accurate. There are statements that I consider that are not completely accurate. And you know why? It's because that I did not simply consume information. What I did was I went beyond consuming information, confirming information, because I feel like many people simply consume information. And see, information are usually created by people, right? So this is a written piece. It's written by somebody or it's written by some people, and it's fine. It's published. It means that it's already accepted. However, I can actually confirm information much more than simply consuming information. So what I did was every reference in the paper, I traced back the paper just to confirm what the authors said. Is it true? And I realized that in some cases, what they said was quite generic. It wasn't really, they did not properly represent the ideas in those papers. So I marked those ones in orange and I said, no, this is not completely or entirely accurate. And the ones in oranges, the ones in green are the ones that I marked and I wanted to do more research on, because sometimes you would see an idea and you simply would memorize the idea. It doesn't make you a scientific leader, really. I think it simply makes you one who consumes information. I don't know the term for that, but beyond consuming information, you want to question, you want to critique information, you want to confirm information, right? And in some cases, because I am in the field of chemistry, right? Sometimes it could be a statement, but I can actually represent the statement using arrows or mechanisms. I can draw structures. So in some cases, okay, like if you can see this blue pen, I wrote right mechanism for this. So it was a statement that was made, but I was like, okay, I can actually write the mechanism. So it means that I can communicate the same idea in two different ways. I can use a statement, I can equally use structures to communicate the same information. So I'm not simply consuming information, I'm questioning information, I'm critiquing information, I'm also confirming information. So as a leader or a scientific leader, you want to pay attention to questioning, critiquing, or confirming information. The more I actually believe that lots of lives actually would depend on true information, right? Because fake news or fake information is very harmful. Really, it's very, very harmful. Imagine, for instance, the medication for, let's say, medication for malaria, say something, so let's say instead of I don't know, really, it's not my field, but my idea is that if I feed you with the wrong information, you can act on that information and it becomes harmful to you. Do you understand? Because it has happened before. I remember when we had this case of Ebola. I was at home when we had that you can take salt water or so to combat Ebola. And I believe that many people at the time drank or took salt water. If you did, just say yes. Let me confirm from the comments. I want to believe that somebody, at least one person on this call, drank salt water years ago to combat Ebola. True or false? If you did, say yes.
True, I think I
True.
did.
Awesome. See, so it's the fact that false information is harmful, right? That's what false information is harmful. So pay attention. So actually, some people drop in the chat. Let me see. I bath, you see, Abraham. I bath salt water. I had to question drinking. I used it to bath. Thank you. So false information is harmful. False information is harmful. So as a leader, as a scientist, please pay attention to confirming. I did. Vera, thank you. Pay attention to confirming, taking, questioning information. Now I'll show you what I did, an instance of what I'm saying in using this particular paper. So this is chemistry. Those of you that are not chemists in the house, sorry, but I'll do my best to explain what I'm trying to show you on screen. So this is a compound called HEMA, right? I think it's called hexa. I don't remember the full name, sorry. So, but the idea is what these researchers are trying to do is to replace, let me just give you the background information. Polymers are once, like your plastic bottles, the ones that they use to package your Coca-Cola, normally they recycle those bottles. But once recycled, those bottles lose their mechanical properties. They equally lose their weight. So it's no longer, so if for instance, the molecular weight of that particular polymer is say 800, let's say 89,000 gram per moles, right? Once recycled, it loses that weight. It also loses its mechanical properties. So what they are trying to do, or what industries normally do, is they use what we call a chain extender. You know, like the word implies, chain extender, right? So it extends the chain so that you can still have the mechanical properties of the original polymer, and you can still have the molecular weight of the original polymer. But the challenge is most of the chain extenders that are used, or the common chain extenders used, contain polystyrene. Again, if you're not a chemistry student, I'm sorry, but polystyrene is a compound that is harmful to the environment. So polystyrene has a ring, this benzene ring. This ring, if you can see this arrow, right? In polystyrene, you would see this ring as well. Now, but what these people are trying to do is, instead of polystyrene, can we have another compound that can do the same job for us, right? Because polystyrene is harmful. So what they try to do is they use this particular molecule, they cap this molecule. This is just the synthetic routes that I drew. The first one, the A and B. So these are two options, so that in the first case, they would instead of polystyrene, they will have this molecule, and instead of polystyrene in the second case, they will have this B molecule, right? And they did a good job in the research article, but I noticed that they did not say why they chose this particular molecule, this HEMA molecule. Now, as a scientist, I don't want to simply consume information, right? Because you also want to consider how else can we get the job done, right? Because there are different ways, like they say, there are different ways to the market. It cannot be one way. You can travel, or you can get to the market through a different route or through a different route. And guess what? The people who find out the many routes to something are the people who become leaders in that field. So if I know that, for instance, iPhone has iPhone 14, iPhone 15, iPhone 16. They don't have 16 yet, but there's 15, and 15 is very recent, right? Samsung has Samsung Galaxy 24, 22, 23. Recently, they sold at 24. 24 is now the latest in the market. And if you check closely, you will realize that it's something that is missing, maybe something a little missing in S23, and they put that idea or that feature in S24, and it becomes a new product. The same thing with iPhone. Something that is not in iPhone 14, they put that particular feature in iPhone 15, and it becomes another product. It's the exact same thing that happens even in science, is that you want to question how else can we get the job done. So when I was reading this paper, I was wondering, why did you not tell us your reasons for choosing HEMA? So I critiqued this paper, so I wrote why HEMA. So this is what I propose, right? I wrote that I actually made this presentation last semester to say that this can be a possible option, this particular molecule, because the idea is chain extender, right? You want to grow a particular chain so that on one end, let's say this arm can hold a growing chain, and this other arm can equally hold a growing chain, so that this guy here becomes an intermediate, but I am still very much a part of the chain. That's the idea. So HEMA, that's the molecule they use, can do the job, but HEMA is not the only molecule that can do the job. So I drew this structure and I presented to say that this can also do the job. And I proposed another structure. This other structure can equally do the job. But why did you choose HEMA? And when I asked the professor who took that particular class, I asked that, the professor was actually excited to see that I questioned their reasons for using HEMA, right? And I asked the professor, can these two compounds become possible alternatives? She said, honestly, she doesn't know. And she suggested that I should discuss that with my supervisor, right? Because the paper was actually published in the lab. So I'm only saying this to please draw the attention of everybody in this call that as leaders, in science or even leaders in business or anything you do, it's important that you don't simply consume information, that you critique, that you confirm, that you question information. So that's going to be all that I would share on this topic. I would, in case anybody has question, I would take that. But thank you very much for good listening. Yeah.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. That was awesome. Please give him a thumbs up if you can hear me. Let's celebrate him with a thumbs up. Smiles, if you can hear me, celebrate him with a thumbs up. Let me give you 1 minute to do that. Or you can use the chat box to celebrate him. Say something. That's good. Castle, thank you. Okay. Thank you so very much, everyone, for celebrating him. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much. You've done great. I've taken down some notes here. I don't know for others, but at least I've learned that I need to question and critique a lot of, what I'm presented with before going forward. So thank you so very much. Maybe before we go, let me check if we've not spent up to an hour. So before we go, I would like us to at least share one or two things that we've picked from what Mr. Paninga shared with us today. Okay, I'll be calling your names. If I call your name, just share with us one thing that you have learned from today's class. And you have learned from today's class with us. You can unmute yourself and say something. Thank you, Vera. Thumbs up. Abraham, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. I want to say something? Or what I learned from today's session. Is anyone hearing me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. What I learned from today's session, based on I got the idea of, let's say, why you like plastics. Yeah, I understand the concept of using plastic, because this is not actually the first time I'm hearing about packaging with plastic. So I already have the idea, or I have that information that it's bad for the body. So, and then actually I want to say I want to appreciate the chief host for that wonderful research. It's very, very amazing. I really enjoyed the presentation. But and two, I also learned something. He said something, or can I say he repeated something, but that caught my attention. As a scientist, I'm not just supposed to consume any information. Let's say when I get an information on something, as a scientist and then as a researcher, I have to go back and then research more, understand the theory, why that is being used, and then if it can be corrected, I should at least provide a correction to that. I shouldn't just, let's say, because they are using plastics and then I know that plastic is bad, but at least since plastic is bad, I'm a scientist, and then okay, let's say one of an aim of a scientist is actually to, let's say, make a world a better place or make the environment free of harmful materials or harmful substances or other things, because since plastic is not degradable to the environment, and yeah, it causes land pollution. So I should look for, let's say, other things or other solutions or other means by which a substance or a particular thing can be packaged, and then it won't be harmful to the environment and it won't be harmful to the body. So I've understood that I'm not just supposed to consume any kind of information. I should make my own personal researches before I, let's say, accept an information. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was awesome. You have to question, you have to critique, and confirm the information. And as well, we should think about a new way or a new way of how this thing can also be done. That's great. Thank you so very much, Geoffrey. I think we still have other people here. Please, somebody, you can unmute yourself and go ahead. Just take 30 seconds, not up to a minute, so we can be able to hear from everyone before we leave this class.
All right. Let me speak. I want to thank the speaker for the wonderful session. I learned a lot actually, and I reflected back on some of the things I've had to do on, or papers that I've read, and I think it struck something. I have to go back and check some other things again. The question why will beg, beyond celebrating discoveries and taking note of the things that have progressed in science. You look deeper at their methods, at their choice of reagents and everything, and see where you can improve. And that's in your own ways, your own discovery. So it's the minute details that makes a difference in certain things. So I held on to that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Little things make a difference in something big. Thank you so very much. Can we have the next person? Okay, let's have okay, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
okay. Thank you very much for this session. I learned a few things. I was even able to grab some words, HEMA, polystyrene, and all of that. So thank you so much. Meanwhile, for me, a take home is about observation. A lot of times we just ignore some happenings around us, like the usual norm. So it's just, for me, it's just brought my attention to, or brought to my consciousness that things happening around me. There are some errors in the things. There are some little black dots in the things happening around me that needs to be corrected. And I can be a person that will bring about that change. And then another thing for me was information. Many times we really don't have control over the information we consume, the social media and all of that. But I'm coming to see that I can confirm. We rarely confirm information. We just consume. But it's bringing my attention that I should learn to confirm information and to also check their authenticity. So I think those are a few things I picked from today's session. Then also I have a question, and it's about the red car theory. So what if we see the same red car, like a particular red car, over and over again? Is it to add to the number, or I don't know if you understand? You get my question?
I do. So how do you know that? How would you know it's the same car?
Plate number and stuff like that. The driver, just all those few things that would make you know that this is the same car I just saw a few minutes ago, or an hour ago, or something like that.
Okay, I like this question. So if you see the same car, just write the frequency, the number of times. So maybe one, you know how they taught us this thing in statistics, right? Frequency, all of that. So if we say car A, you can say A, car B, car C, car D, something like that. So write the frequency of those cars. If you see it 10 times, make it 10, 20 times, write 20. And I like this question because I also believe that even in business or science, when things like this happen, it actually solidifies people's observation. Like when you see things happening repeatedly, do you understand? Like there's this consistency, even in what you're doing, you see consistency in your work. It tells you that there is something here. If it's new or it could be new. You have to check it out, right? So that can be a discovery for you as well. So yeah, if you see it in the same car, please note the frequency.
All right, thank you.
And everybody, make sure you do this. So don't do this for the reward. I know there's a reward for this, but please don't do this for the reward. I just want us to confirm things together, right? Let's journey together. Let's also have fun while doing so. Yes, I think Samuel has his hands raised.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Kaninga. I really appreciated that presentation. It really goes to show that being a scientist is 90% being an observer and 10% finding solutions to the problems you observed. And I will keep that to heart. Thank you very much. But I have a question. One of the problems that I face in like research is that let me use what is it called as an example, my project currently. So there's a particular topic we're working on. We start with our literature review, our introduction, and then methodology. So for the literature review part, I already know what I want to write. So when I go and do research into like research papers and all that, I just go and look for that particular thing that I want to write about. If I see it there, I take it, I reword it, I rephrase and all that. Is there any way I can like read research articles, or are there any tips you can give me on how to read research articles so that I can find information, then critique, understand, and all that? Because we weren't really taught how to go through research articles and understand. We're just taught that take this information from this, take information from this, and that is all.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Samuel is really asking a question about your next mentorship session. Okay, you don't have the guide, your mentors do. No, you actually do. I think it's in the calendar, right? So your next mentorship session is on literature review. So all your mentors are going to be guiding you on conducting great literature reviews, right? So don't worry. I think that's going to be next week, right? So look forward to that. But I'm going to just say something briefly about this question. You know what you said? The statement, I already know what to write. I think while that is good, that may not be great. While that is good, that may not be great. Because sometimes, to be honest with you, what you're not looking for will likely be what you should be looking for. Do you understand? What you're not looking for can be the discovery for you. What you're not looking for can be the idea for you, right? Especially when you're doing literature review. You can actually come across something and it reshapes or reconditions your mind, so to say, what you're trying to write. You will now see a better way to communicate your idea. Do you understand? So I don't want to go deep into literature review. All the tools to do literature review, that would be covered by your mentors. But what I want to say now is that while it is good to know what you want to write, it's also very important to be open. Do you understand? Be open. Because like I said, you can come across an idea that will be able to reshape your preconceived idea, right? Preconceived ideas sometimes are not really helpful. So have your idea, but please be very open. Is that an okay answer for now?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I know a lot of you have questions to ask. Some of your questions, today is leadership session. So I know most of your questions will be answered as we go on with the program. Like you've seen in our calendar from the previous time, we have the leadership session, which today is one of them. We have your mentorship session after leadership session. So most of what you are asking of, like the last person I just asked a question now, your mentors will attend to that. So if you have questions related to what you're talking about today, as you give your maybe say your thank you or say whatever you have gotten from the class today, just ask the question. But make sure you ask the question related to what we're talking about today. The topic, so we can be able to hasten up and in the class because we are behind schedule already. Okay, the next person, please.
Yeah, we have 4 more minutes. If anybody has a question or feedback, it's open.
Okay. Naomi. Yeah, we have Naomi. And the next person is Oluwabori.
Okay, yeah. Oluwabori is where he wants to say something.
Okay.
Yeah, Oluwabori, go on. Please, if you have question or comment, you can raise your hands. Otherwise, we can conclude after that.
Like,
Yes, go on.
Of why standard, so long as there is loopholes, we ought to ask for better development. That's from Vera. These are the people who drop their own on the comment box, on the chat box. So if I'm not mistaken, I think everyone has said something. Please, if you've not said anything, can you just raise your hand? And okay, Oluwabori, you've not said a word.
Oluwabori,
have
just
you, please?
go.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think that it's always good to make our own research about everything. Thank you so very much. So thank you so much for your comment. Oh, someone is speaking. You can go ahead. Yes, you can go ahead. Or maybe your network is bad. To think about how else we can make it better. So thank you so very much, sir. We really appreciate your time and everything you taught us today. Before we go, I would like to make some things clear to everyone here. Please, it's very, very important. We appreciate some of you that come early, and for those of you who came late, please, we are pleading this time around. We want you to make sure you make it up to us. You know, he's over there. I mean, a PhD is not like on a graduate school where you can skip classes or maybe